Hey guys, this is Adam. I just wanted to kind of show you some of the upgrades I made on my Weber Kettle. It's a Weber Kettle 22 inch, and I usually like to use it more so for smoking versus grilling. You could do either or on it, but I just like that smoke flavor a lot. So I've kind of turned my kettle into a more so of a smoker, and I wanted to kind of go over some of the upgrades that I did on the grill and show you all. As you can see, I've got the Digi DX2. It works great. You can see I've got the little fan down here, and I've got the Digi Q DX2 set up there. As far as the temperature gauge between that as well as my other internal temp on my ThermoPro, it holds pretty good, but there is a little bit of a difference between, you can see it says inside the grill's 218, whereas my ThermoPro is showing 226. So you kind of got to play around and figure out the difference as far as what you actually want the internal temp of your grill to be. But you know, it works great. I don't have to babysit it. You know, it allows you to do a long smoke and go to bed, as well as if it's during the day, you can do other things, not have to sit back here by the grill and really pay attention to every 2 seconds what's going on, if you have to mess with your vents and so forth. So if you listen, you can hear the fan down here. You can see it stopped right now, and then it just kicked back on, and then it stopped again. So it kind of oscillates to try and keep that temperature regulated at what you set it to. Now, right now I've got a brisket going on, so I'm going to smoke it around 220, 225. I like to do really low and slow on briskets. Really get that smoke flavor in there good, break down that muscle tissue and the fat, and not really rush through it. I like to take my time on it. I don't care how long it takes. I just want a really good flavor. I want the meat to be nice and tender with a good smoke ring and a good smoke flavor to it. So up here, what you can see I've done, because there's no rubber on this piece right here, so if I go to grab that top vent, it's hotter than heck. So what I've done, I've just taken a little handle that I had laying around, took the old piece out from it, put some 1/4 thread in there, and then threaded and jam nut that to the top vent. That way now I can grab it, not worry about burning myself. I don't want to touch that when it's 225 degrees. Also, before I got a digital thermometer, I put another thermometer up here on the grill. Being that I can't adjust it, it's measuring, you know, roughly an inch down from the top of the lid. I want it to measure exactly down where my meat is, but again, it's just kind of a reference point. You can see it's saying it's about 210 degrees right now. Internal, I'm showing the meat's 115, and my internal temp's 224. The DigiQ saying 218. So it's just kind of another checking point that I added on, because if you look over here, I'm showing 310 degrees on this side, and what I'm doing an offset smoke where I've got all of my wood and charcoal on this side of the grill, and then I've got my meat over here, so I'm allowing that smoke to rise up and over and then hit my meat before it comes out the top vent there. And then if you look down here, because I've got the DigiQ, or you know, the barbecue guru on here, there's a little vent on the inside, and I'll show you later when I go and take the lid off and spritz the brisket, but there's a little vent on the inside, and so I wouldn't, when I try and clear my pan out, so I wouldn't open those fins and hit that, I put this little bracket on here, just drilled some screws through it. That way I can only open it so far and I don't hit that and knock it off. The Weber Kettle, I mean, I love it. It's, you know, it was $150. Great little grill for smoking. You know, I don't smoke a ton of meat to where I need like a Weber Smoky Mountain, or one of the big dollar grills. I love the Weber Kettle. It's durable, it's cheap, and you know what you're going to get from it. Also, one more thing that I did add over here, because I've gotta love cell phones. For some reason my video shut off, but anyways, I was telling you something I did add was this port over here, and what that did, and I need to adjust my temperature down real fast, so sorry for that. I'm starting to get up to 231 and I don't want to get that hot. But what I was saying, I did add this port right here, and what I've got going through there, I've got one going to the meat, of course. I've got one to the ThermoPro to show the pit temperature, and then I've got another one going to the Digi Q DX2 for the pit also, and that helps regulate the DX2 to what the temperature is that you want it at. And something I was going to say about the DX2 is, I personally like that it is a 12 volt source versus 2 AAA batteries, because if you're doing a 12-13 hour plus cook, 2 AAA batteries have a hard time keeping up with that fan there, because it consistently oscillates on and off to try and regulate that temperature and keep it at what it's at. So right now, of course, it's not running because I'm trying to cool it back down, but once it hits that 220 mark, it's going to keep going off and on roughly every 10 to 15 seconds, and it only lasts for 5 or 10 seconds as far as how long the fan runs. But 2 AAA batteries, that's a lot of work for, and I've heard that people have issues with switching the batteries out 3 or 4 times during a long cook. I would much rather run an extension cord. So here in a little bit, I'm going to come back and I'll show you the brisket that I've got on there, and hope you all keep watching the videos.